starting with our crust. I'm just gonna put 11 graham crackers into a food processor, and I also have 4 tablespoons of butter melting, and you just wanna process this up into a fine crumb. And once you have these processed into a fine crumb, just pour them into a separate bowl. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then the 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and just combine this. Now you can completely buy a pre-made crust. There's nothing wrong with it. Personally, the reason that I like to make them isn't even so much for the taste as it is for the aesthetic. Crust you buy at the grocery store, it's gonna be pressed in around the edge. It's not gonna have a pretty rim. But when you make it yourself, you have control and you're able to make it look however you want. And for our key lime pie, we just want to press our crust in firmly, and then I like to have a little bit of a ledge up the top, and so we're just going to come up the sides, and there'll kind of be excess that will stick out, and that's why I like it more than a pre-made crust personally. As always, do what you can do, and if making this pie you're like, man, I would do it, but making a crust is a lot, then buy the crust, make the pie. Anyone who judges you for it isn't worthy of having your dessert anyway. So it's just gonna go into the oven 5 to 10 minutes until slightly brown. We will bake this pie for a few more minutes, so you don't want it to be overly brown. So key lime pie is super straightforward, incredibly simple, and yet very impressive when you serve it. 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk and the zest of 2 limes. Or if you've bought key limes that you're gonna juice, I buy key lime juice. This brand is the best and amazing. But if you're gonna zest key limes, because that's what you're using for juice, probably about 4, maybe 5, depending on their size. And I actually wanna use some zest for decoration, so I'm not gonna fully zest the second lime. To your 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk and your lime zest, just want to add 1/2 cup of sour cream and combine this together. You can do it with a spatula or a whisk, whatever works best for you. And then to this, we're going to add 3/4 cup of key lime juice. Now, some people like their key lime pie to be green. And if you like that, then you should go ahead and add a drop of lime green food coloring. I personally don't. There was a baker who was in Florida. I'm trying to remember what town. I don't remember what town. And I was at a convention with him forever ago, probably 20 years ago. And he gave a recipe for a tart, which was completely different from this. But it was called Nevergreen Key Lime Tart. So since then I was like, oh, it's not supposed to be green? Because when you buy lime stuff, it's typically green, right? So whatever aesthetic you want. But the lime zest in this does help it look like lime and not lemon or something else. Just gonna whisk this together, and we'll pour it into our pre-baked crust. And then it's gonna cook just until very small bubbles begin to form on the top. All right, so I have my pre-made crust that has baked, and we're just gonna fill it up. Oftentimes we'll have a little bit extra. You can make some small ones. This is also great to use as a filling in cupcakes. But our extra little ledge on this pie allows us to put a little bit more in it than you would be able to be. So if you bought your crust at the grocery store, it's definitely not all gonna fit. This is, again, doesn't cook very long. You just want little bitty bubbles. I'll show you. All right, so our key lime pie is done. It's kind of bubbled up around the edge. It has just little teeny tiny bubbles. It needs to fully cool. So I like to cool it on my counter to room temp and then stick it into a fridge overnight, or at least for 2 to 3 hours. Then we can top it with some whipped cream. You can cut up some key limes, all kinds of fun stuff. We can decorate it, but we'll get to that. All right, so my key lime pie cooled on my counter until it came to room temp, and then I stuck it into the fridge overnight. Now, I just like to serve mine with some whipped cream around the edges. I have fit my whipped cream bag with a little star tip, but you could do whatever. You can also just serve it like in a dish on the side, and people can add it as they see fit. I'm just gonna do a little swirl. You could do stars. Stars are really simple to do. You just kind of just, I'll show you. So for a star, just squeeze and pull up. And you just have, so you could do your border just stars like that around the edge. I'm gonna slice mine and give it to my classmates tomorrow, so they won't even really see what I did. But I like to sprinkle some lime zest around it. And now, okay, so you can get a little bit fancy if you want. You can put a dollop in the middle and take a lime slice. And I've sliced it, well, I meant to only slice it halfway. I think it tore the rest of the way. Slice it just halfway, and then you can do your little twirly whirl right on top. Or you can do slices or quarters, whatever makes you happy. And decorate it like that too.